Hello, welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, You Simply Are. Why complicate it? What I mean by that. We are always direct experience. Always. Right now. In every moment, we cannot negate the experience of being. Can you say you're not? Can you say you're not being right now? You're always being. That's the nature of ourselves. And then what happens is that is override by the mind that is always interpreting everything. Is translating everything. But the truth is that we are. We can never not be. And this is what we're pointing to the obviousness of what is. When there's identification with the mind and with the concepts, we're just overlooking direct experience. You see? So why we make this complicated? Because there is an underlying fear of just being, because we think that if we just are, our sense of identity, which is what we're holding on to, disappears, that the mind interprets as death. But in reality, the disappearance of the psychological sense of self is not a death, it's a liberation. Because I've been liberated from the limitation that is being imposed upon what I am always. And what we're doing here is just remembering that we are always what is, you see? And then in the what is, which is all there is, thoughts will appear, sensations will appear, situations may seem to appear, but if they are seen as such, then they're just moving and passing clouds. But what we are remains. It doesn't matter what kind of thoughts, what kind of sensations, what kind of emotions, what kind of experiences, we never cannot be. And this is the most obvious thing once he's seen. It's like, oh my God, so life is happening. Seeing seems to be taking place. Hearing seems to be taking place. Feeling, sensing, experiences seems to be taking place. And yet, I am. I rest in what is, right now. When I used to meditate, I remember that I did it for many reasons. One could be because I thought that I could control the mind. Sometimes I try to feel a little bit better, thinking that I can be in a relaxed state, and thinking that that is the ultimate state to be always, not realizing that life, the human life, or the seeming appearance, by being dualistic, it's always a change, it's an exchange between opposite. So I was trying to hold on to one aspect of it, thinking that the other will not show up. But in the human experience, again, there's dark and there's light. I cannot experience one without the other. I cannot say something is beautiful unless the concept of ugly exists. None of them actually exist, but for the sake of illustration, the only way I can say this is beautiful is because there's a concept that says this is ugly. See? Because if the concept of ugliness would not be there, then the concept of beautiful would not make any sense, because I'm only seeing what is. So there's a tendency of thinking that when I meditate, I will be in that state of bliss, or whatever the case may be, even if I felt like that for a few moments, and that'll be like that forever. And of course, when I would feel, let's say, bad, then the mind would come up with, oh, maybe I'm doing it wrong, or maybe I didn't meditate right, or maybe that means that I should try harder or whatever the case may be, because I was trying to achieve a particular state that supposedly meditation would give me, again overlooking that I always am. So now when it's seen through that life is, well, there's no need to do anything. What do I need to do in order to be? Absolutely nothing, because I am being all the time. And when I was able to see now that thoughts, sensations, emotions, experiences, all of these are transitory movements, that's when, oh my God, I'm always being. I am never not being. If you're trying to use this particular message to change something in your life, you're missing the mark. Because we're not trying to change anything. The space need not change. All we're doing is seeing through the illusion, seeing through the Maya, seeing through the world of appearances, to see that all that there is what is. If I have a gold, and I turn it into a shape of a ring, you see, if I get caught into in the label ring, I'm overlooking that I am not seeing a ring. What I am seeing is gold, which is the essence. But by labeling it ring, I overlook that it is gold. Well, right now, all that there is love, because love is the essence, not a feeling or a sensation. But if I go ahead and give love certain attributes, I'm overlooking love with this particular attribute. That's why some people may say, I fell in love and I fell out of love, because they thought that love had to do with a sensation. But in reality, love is what I am. Whether the sensation is in there or whether the sensation is no longer there, I am what I am. So we're pointing here to the obvious, and the obvious is I am. You see, it's direct experience. This is it. And now when I can see that thoughts are just simply passing clouds, sensations, feelings, emotions are also passing clouds. They may have to have certain intensity because they seem to be more concrete, but in the end it's just basically movement, the movement of energy. When I begin to see that life is always situations, everything changes, but I am, I remain. Once that is seen through, what is there to do? That's why we don't have to make it complicated. Right now, whether you got the message or you didn't, you still are. See? I don't need to change anything. Everything is left as it is. Because there's no me. All that there is what is. This idea of a me is a thought. A thought that says this is who I am. Without the thought, what is left? You see, that's the mystery. And yet, it's direct experience. It is always. I can never not be. That's why you simply are. Well, that was the inspiration that came through this instrument. I hope it helped. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.